The era between 1901 to 2000, better known as the 20th century, witnessed the birth of some of the most remarkable creations. Right from electronic gadgets, automobiles, to articles of everyday use, these inventions stupefied the world at the time they were made. But, today, they have become a part of our lives and we literally cannot imagine life without them. Here are the top 10 inventions that have changed our daily lives. Enjoy! Gillette conceived the idea for and developed the disposable safety razor. Gillette's invention changed men's personal care, making it more convenient and safer to shave at home. The Gillette razor became standard issue for U.S. soldiers during World War I. By 1926, the Gillette Company produced 2.1 million blades each day, and men rarely went to barbers for a shave. Gillette's invention evolved over the years, and disposable razors became a familiar convenience in the daily lives of men and women alike. The history of the tea bag starts in the early 1900s. It was an accidental discovery by Thomas Sullivan, who was a tea and coffee importer from New York. He shipped samples of loose tea to customers in silk bags. The tea was meant to be taken out of the bags to be steeped, but customers found it easier to brew the tea with the leaves in the porous bags. Tea bag patents date from 1903, and the first modern tea bags were hand-sewn fabric bags. Appearing commercially around 1904, tea bags were successfully marketed in about 1908 by Sullivan. A common household appliance found in virtually every kitchen, break room, and office, this is perhaps one of the more accessible but underappreciated inventions on our list. First made available commercially in 1947, this is one of the early 20th century creations that had a concept and look ripped straight out of a science fiction story. Far more than a clock that occasionally cooks things, the microwave was actually born from radar technology. Were it not for this thermal wonder of convenience, reheating our coffee and lunch leftovers would be a hassle and popcorn would be a rarity. Still waiting on that food hydrator though. The first ballpoint pen was produced in 1938 by Ladislao José Biro, a Hungarian-Argentine inventor. At the time, his invention was hailed as a true miracle. Up until then, people were still using liquid ink to write, meaning they had to wait for the ink to dry before they could continue writing. However, Biro's pen was different. The quick drying mechanism ensured that writing things down was more efficient than ever. In addition, the ink was actually inside the pen itself, making everything infinitely less messy. What's more, his pen could also be refilled, meaning that people could use the same one for years. He sold his patent to different countries, and people all around the world began queuing up to buy their first ballpoint pen. In 1917, Gideon Sundback, a Swedish-American design engineer, developed a hookless fastener that used interlocking teeth, scoops, that were easy to interlock and release with an attached slider. The teeth interlocked the way spoons can nest within one another, and were closely spaced for security. Another innovation in this version was that the teeth on both sides were the same, no need for hooks on one side and eyes on the opposite side. The toothed zipper tapes were called stringers. This modern zipper was patented as the separable fastener, U.S. Patent 1,219,881, March 20, 1917. Although they've technically been around since the 1860s in manual hand-pump form, we're talking about the modern motorized cleaners invented by Hubert Cecil Booth in 1901. Introduced for domestic use 4 years after it was perfected, vacuum cleaners hit the market as luxury items and did not become common among middle-class households until after the Second World War. With hundreds of variations designed for all forms of surfaces in existence today, it's truly befuddling that brooms and dustpans are not yet obsolete. The radio is an innovation that fundamentally transformed the landscape of communication and entertainment worldwide. Its invention is credited to an Italian electrical engineer, Guglielmo Marconi. It was not until December 12, 1901, that Marconi audaciously showcased the world-changing potential embedded in his invention. On that watershed day, Marconi successfully transmitted the first wireless signal across the Atlantic Ocean, from Cornwall in the United Kingdom to Newfoundland in Canada. This remarkable achievement marked the birth of long-distance, transglobal communication, thereby revolutionizing the way the world connected and interacted. Since then, the novel technology of radio communication has undergone numerous modifications and enhancements, eventually morphing into the radio devices we recognize today. Here it is, the original tube that skyrocketed pop culture and mass media to a whole new level, reducing the radio to road trip background noise. Becoming a commonplace commodity since the mid-20th century, This is the invention that paved the way for other home entertainment innovations, including VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, cable, and even streaming services such as Netflix. Today, it is estimated that 79% of the world's households own at least one set. Thus it continues to be the primary medium for influencing public opinion as well as a potent force for the visual and dramatic arts. First demonstrated by Motorola in 1973, these handheld communicators have come a long way since their original, antenna on a brick, design. At one point simply a flashy gadget to own and show off, regardless of the brand, cell phones have since become a dime-a-dozen gizmo found in the pockets of basically anyone. Reaching a new peak with smartphones, mobiles have essentially evolved into all-in-one tech tools, with most consumers using them for games, taking photographs, filming, maps, web browsing, essentially everything except actually making a phone call. Ever evolving since the 1930s, these algorithm-juggling wonderworks are without question some of the more complex creations on this list, if not throughout all of history. Becoming increasingly accessible with each generation, the modern personal computer has made the lives of so many users of all tastes and needs a lot more fun and or convenient. It's perhaps the most important technology on our planet today, as it plays a part in virtually every other technological marvel or industry in existence. Whether it's filmmaking, amusement park rides, or a mom and pop style operation, computers, personal or otherwise, are guaranteed to be in the mix.